If I'ma spend, I gotta pay for some friends. Let me pay for some friends. If I'ma spend, shot to burn your friend.
What is up, party people? And you are tuning into the what, to the who, to the how, to the brownest of cows. Sometimes the whitest. The Nightcap Crew, what is up, mother suckers? Today we are here for another prime and beautiful episode, if I may say. Welcome to the Nightcap Crew. Everybody, hear ye, hear ye. I will say that today we have a very, very, very special guest with us. We have Miss I Am Jaylin Renee. She is a YouTuber. She is a Instagram superstar, influencer, beautiful. She's great. I've had her on my channel before, but I'm going to let her go ahead and speak and introduce herself and her platforms, and we'll get into the conversation with the rest of the panel. Go ahead, Jaylin. One sec. All right, go ahead.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I am Jaylin Renee. I am a social media content creator. I know we heard that probably like times 10 since the last 2 years. So I decided to jump on the bandwagon, being somebody that has been in front of Amira since she came out of the womb. It's something that I've just been doing literally my entire life. And I realized I probably should be doing this full time. So that is what I do. I am on YouTube at I Am Jaylin Renee. Also on Instagram at I Am Jaylin Renee. I'm also on TikTok at I Am Jaylin Renee. I just reached 4,000 on TikTok. So follow your girl. Yes. TikTok, I've been like obsessed with TikTok.
I love your TikToks. They are great. I be very much so hip to different things, different books. You put us hip to a lot of good things. So that's why we're excited to have you here. We're excited that you are our special guest, and make sure you guys subscribe and follow all of those platforms, including the TikTok. And congratulations to the 4,000, because getting up to 4,000 in anything, that is definitely something to congratulate yourself.
Boxing right now, but you know.
yeah, it'd be like that for real. So, All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and introduce the rest of the panel. We got Q Suave, we got JoJo, we got Fit Hollywood 6 or Column 6, we got the Red Flag Collectors, aka Danielle and Hair, we got Livy Rose, Goddamn Town, as we said, Jaylin Renee, and our favorite, Miss Naturally Elegant. All right, y'all. Today, we're going to go ahead and get into our hot topics of the night. And we are going to be talking about gender roles. Now, today, you guys, this is an open panel conversation. I told the panel we're trying something a little different today. We're going to start with our guests because we're polite, but the panelists are going to give their go on talking to each other, interjecting, having a real conversation since we're all comfortable with each other. So give us some slack here today. If you have some overlappage, I'm letting y'all know that we getting it together. So anyway, we're talking about gender roles today. Now, gender roles are simple. I will give you the dictionary definition of gender roles so we understand what we're talking about because it's subjective. The role or behavior learned by a person as appropriate to their gender, determined by prevailing cultural norms. This is a social role encompassing a range of behaviors, I said that all wrong, and attitudes that are generally considered acceptable. So things that like women wear dresses, or hey, boys are supposed to take the trash out maybe. Things that we are conditioned or unconditioned to learn when we're growing up and when we are younger. So the first thing we're going to start with, because we always start with a hot topic, is New Jersey is the 4th state in the United States of America. I'm sharing my screen with you now to go ahead and let neutral gender birth certificates be an option. So I'm going to share my screen here. CBS News, NBC News, whatever we're on. NJ, New Jersey, to become the 4th state with gender-neutral birth certificate options. New Jersey residents and those who are born in the Garden State will soon have the choice of selecting a gender-neutral option on their birth certificates. Again, this is the point that some people are upset with or not upset with, is that this is before the child is born, or before, when they come into this earth, and before they have the opportunity to say that, hey, I want to identify as something else. And that's common nowadays, and that's okay. So the first question that I'm going to go ahead and to propose and give to you, panel, is, are gender roles necessary? And you can follow up and comment on New Jersey. This is going to happen, I'm sure. Our world is evolving. But do you feel that gender roles are necessary? I'm going to go ahead and start with our special guest. You are here, you're a parent, so let's talk about it.
Well, this is heavy. So because I was raised old school and I was raised Baptist, and when you said gender roles, I immediately went to husband and wife, and what a man does and what a woman does. That's where I immediately went. I didn't think it was going to be that. But my personal opinion on something like this is, obviously this is a really heavy topic because it's going to change the way everyone sees the world, right? If something like this is moving forward, I personally think that being forced into something is not the best way to deal with things. But I also think that a newborn coming out of the womb cannot decide if they want to be a man or a woman. They just don't have the thought process to do that. Now, later down the line, and they've experienced some things, they experienced the world, they've had interactions with people, and they're like, I want to be this. I think that's a little bit more acceptable because it's a little bit more knowledgeable because they've had experience in the world. But doing that right at birth when they're out of the womb, I think that's kind of absurd. And I think that's putting a lot of pressure, on kids. And kids just want to play. They don't have any pride. They do what they want. They're going to say what they want. They start walking, they fall on their head, they fall on their butts, and they get right back up. That's one thing that babies and children have. Well, that's one thing they don't have that we do have, is pride. And to me, that should not be taken away from them. That just let babies be babies. And
Do you feel like it's confusing to maybe have the child then decide whether I should be even a boy or a girl?
Very much so, especially at such a young age. Like, kids don't know. They don't know race. They don't know. We teach them these things, right? So even, how is a baby gonna know as a newborn getting his diaper changed that it's a guy or that it's a girl? That baby doesn't care about that. Just whatever they biologically come out of the womb, I feel that's what they need to be identified as.
So as whatever their private part is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, if down the line they have experience in the world, they, whatever their experience may be, once they can start to formulate logical decisions, then I think that should be the conversation of, okay, this is what I want to be.
All right. So let's chime in. Open discussion.
I'm good with it. Absolutely. The only issue that I would probably have is just because I watch a lot of sex documentaries when it comes to how people are identified, and some people are born with both. Some people, and they have that natural confusion in their life. But for as the birth certificate thing, I believe you a girl, you're a boy. You weren't born an alien, you weren't born a dog. Keep it just like that, as girl and boy. Unless you have, which there are already people in the world who deal with having two vaginas, or having, some people have emergencies.
Hermaphrodites and things of that nature. People.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
when
in
a general sense.
Yeah, in general, leave it alone. Stop it. You trying to mess with us? Don't mess with us. We're fine.
So you feel that it's people who can just identify as male and female, and they could just go with it, and they could be fine with that.
Not even necessarily that, but when you're talking about the birth certificate, the baby can't even talk. The baby don't know what it is. Just like
if the baby don't know what it is, then don't put nothing on it. How about that?
See, no. Because how do you identify? How do you teach a kid? How do you teach a kid? A kid, like, it's bad enough that we
let them explore what they want to be. It's not based upon your privates no more.
No. It gotta be, because how we gonna see? No, because how are we gonna teach them how to use the bathroom? How they gonna know what bathroom to go?
With whatever private part you have, you can identify as something different.
And that's the difference, though, between like sex and gender, though. Like, I think that's something that people get like very misconstrued. And I looked it up too before I talked because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. But like, sex is the physical characteristics that that type of sex is the physical characteristics that someone's born with versus like their gender identity. And that's like their expressions, how they feel, what they feel they are. But there is, and I'm not sure with like birth certificates, I feel like the term gets like misconstrued when it's like, even with like gender reveals and stuff, it's like it's the sex of the baby, but I feel like people don't want to say like, oh, the sex of the baby, because people get all fucking weird about it. Like, it's not a gender, it's literally like a physical it's the physical identifier of what sex you belong to at that point.
Okay, so let's say 5 to 7 years from now, you're married and you have a baby, and your husband's like, Danielle, I don't want our child to have a gender. We moving to Jersey. Genderless is fine with me. It's been passed in Massachusetts. I want them to pick.
She need a new husband. Flat.
I was gonna say it's because it's the sex of the baby. It's not the gender.
Why do she need a new husband, and why can't they just pick? If society is teaching people to relearn to just pick anyway.
But are we doing? Are we doing what we want?
No, but the thing is, like, I think this is where everyone's like getting it twisted. Like, it's the sex of the baby is what they put on the birth certificate. Like, do you have a dick? Mm-hmm. Do you not have a dick? That is literally how it is.
You can have like the gender of like this on the birth certificate, but you could raise your baby neutrally. It's how you want to parent.
So
I guess
that's what I was going to chime in and say. What?
Why are people doing this? It's a reason why people are doing it. What's the reason?
What I was going to say is I think that now the option is being passed because there are so many people coming out as transgender, non-binary, whatever, female, male, whatever. So now as we're getting older as ourselves and our generation, we're having children, people want the option to put their kid as non-binary so that they can raise them how they want to raise them and not give them a specific gender role. But I still think that on the birth certificate, like, you should be labeled your sex, so whether you are a male or a female. And when you're 18, I think we should just be making it easier for those people who want to identify as the other person, just like smoking, drinking, whatever. Like, it should just be an option when you're at least at 18, to where you have that mental capacity to really choose, like, okay, I've been thinking about this for a while. I've always felt this way since I was 6. I want to be male. I want to be female. Parents, no matter what, whether it's labeled male or female on a birth certificate, you're going to raise your child how you want to raise your child. So I don't think
Kids are very intuitive too nowadays.
Okay, no. Okay, we're going to go with Tam, Livy, Jay.
You see it.
I was just saying, like, kids are very. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tam.
I was just saying, like, you kind of see it a lot now in this, like, newer age generation, because I have watched a lot of videos of parents who have had, like, little, kids that are boys that just want to wear dresses and feel more comfortable, or girls that want to wear boy clothes, and it's just like, they grow up and some parents are more open to, like, okay, this is what my child wants to do. I'm gonna love my child regardless of what the world has to say. Though I agree that, okay, they should still say the sex on the birth certificate, but at the same time, just like people say being gay, you can't be born that way or things like that. I think some kids or some teenagers know that I don't feel right in my sex. Like, I don't like having boobs. I don't like having this vagina. I don't feel like the sex that I am. I'm a whole boy. Mm-hmm. But, you can make that choice yourself. They do have to go through therapy for a certain age to go through the transition of becoming transgender. So I feel like sometimes you just kind of have to just go with what your kids feel, and again, it's up to the parents to raise them however they want to raise their kids, but you have to listen to your child, because at the end of the day, they have to go through the world living how they feel in their own gender and how they live in their own skin. So I think it's just all depends on the parent, and also you have to listen to your child.
I'm good with it. I'm good with that.
Okay, well, we're going to hear from Livy, Jalen, and I need to hear from the fellas as well. Then we're going to get on to the next topic.
I was actually going to say something very similar to what Tam was saying, is, like, kids are also very intuitive. I feel like after a certain age, I know we're talking about babies, but, like, I can't help but think about, like, I feel like kids around, like, the ages, like, between 5 and 7 are really observant, and, like, they absorb a lot around them because they're in that, like, learning. Obviously they're continuing to learn, but I've noticed, like, the younger that they get, the more intuitive they are, and, like, they just, I feel like they know what they want kind of more at a younger age without knowing that that's what it is. And so that's kind of where the parenting comes into play, is like, like, noticing those things and, like, going, I think my kid, likes this type of stuff. Like, could be a boy likes dresses, a girl who likes monsters, or anything, anybody that likes anything. Honestly, it's just, if you parent your kids and you, like, are good to your kids in that sense.
What about the parents that want to pick this and want their little boy to be a little girl? The twisted parents that we watch on Netflix and those type of Gypsy Rose type of mamas. It's still other twisted things that parents can do. It's music. Okay, I want to hear from the men. Q, and then Chris, and then we're going to get on to the next question.
I kind of agree with everything JoJo said, to be honest, about, like, just identifying at birth. Like, just, to me, it just makes sense. And at 18, like, everything they put in our face that's legal, that we have to choose about, like, why not put 18? Like, it makes sense to me. So
my car insurance is 25, Q. So My car insurance 25. So why can't we wait till we 25?
Well, once you're 18, I feel like you can give them the option if you want to after 25 if you're still trying to figure it out. But
I mean,
some people at 15 though, and start.
18 is more reasonable than at birth.
Because some people think kids can like make certain choices at like younger ages, and I don't believe that, honestly. Like, I feel like they only have intuition just because like information is just that easy to like they're just like, the brain at that age is way more like able to copy and repeat than like the more we get older. Like, they can learn languages way quicker than us at 25. They can recite fucking songs way easier. So sometimes I feel like it may seem like they know what they're saying, or they could just be going with the information they were given based on what they're around. Like, they could be a product of their environment. Like,
But for when it comes to, when I say that, my question is, car insurance you're not considered an adult to be able to decide decisions until you're 25. Your car insurance doesn't go down until you're 25. So even though you can have car insurance as young as 14, 15, 16, that's what I mean when I say that. Well, why shouldn't we wait till these kids become adults?
Because I think if you know, you know.
I feel like
the age is crazy.
I feel
Yeah,
like
we're a lot of people more our queer. I think our queer friends or our identifying friends can speak on not on cisgendered things. So, I mean, Livy, you anything, Tam?
I feel like that when it comes to things like this, it's just like, why should we have to wait till 25? I didn't wait till I was 25 to say I was a lesbian. I knew.
You're not waiting until 25 to have
I knew
sex.
as early as 15, 16 that I had a thing for women. I didn't kind of know fully what that was because I grew up a preacher's kid. I grew up in church. So you don't really hear about that gay community. You hear that I have to be married to a man. This is that, this, that. But I knew what the feeling. So I, looked at women, but I shouldn't have to wait till I'm 18 or 25 to be like, okay, yeah, I'm a whole lesbian and I'm going to do what I have to do, because at the end of the day, the kids these days are growing up faster than I have seen it. I see kids that's like working technology at 2. I didn't know nothing about technology.
It's the kids like, these days for me.
I agree.
I don't believe it's the kids.
I gotta get fit in, and then I gotta go into the next question for time's sake. Fit, what you got for us?
It's hard for me to comment on the gender certificate thing because I've always been a boy and I've always felt like I was a boy, so I really don't understand it and I'm not educated on it, so I'm not gonna really give my opinion on that. But as far as gender roles being necessary,
it's an option and something that you may have to have a conversation you may have to have with your partner, or that's something that will now be offered in big cities and progressive cities. So you're not that far away from fatherhood in the next 10 years or so.
I mean, like whatever my baby is born with as far as sex, then that's what's going to be on the gender.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so you're traditional with it.
Yeah. As far as gender roles too, I think gender roles are necessary because like it's simple for me. Like, I'm a very simple person. Like, ladies probably prefer not to take out the trash, right? And ladies probably prefer not to like have to go outside and clean their cars off, especially if they have a man, right?
Well, women don't want to be garbage men or engineers. We can't even physically lift it. My boyfriend is an engineer, and I look at the shit that he does at work. I'm like, I can't even like physically do this.
Well,
so I can't. The shit that women.
But it's not. Yeah, and it's not even like. That's what I'm saying though. It's not even like it's not about you have the ability to can or can't do it. You probably rather not have to do it. As far as like me, home decoration and shit like that, I could do it, but I would prefer not to do it. Like, I like to have a lady to decorate the crib and make it smell good, look nice.
Home decoration is a subjective thing because men can have a niche for design and be into that. Because you have some men
but that's again, like I'm saying, like the majority of guys I know, we don't like doing that. Like the majority of guys I know, like it's not like we can't do it or we don't have the skill to do so, but we prefer not to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's just, I feel like I agree, Six, with you. It's like when it comes to like carrying heavy stuff, like I'm strong, I can carry heavy stuff. But if one of my guy friends is like, "Oh, do you want me to carry all that stuff for you?" I'm not going to say no.
I'm going to help me move, not women.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you have a lot of women to be like, I don't need no man to do nothing. I don't need this. I don't need that. I got it. Da, da, da. So that's also a big part of our community. Everybody got some friends like that.
Honey,
Too.
I need a man because I'm not taking out the trash. I'm not carrying groceries in the house. I'm not killing the bugs. I'm not getting the car clean. That's a man's job.
I just forever believe that I forever believe that there's a lot of shit that men, like you said, Six, like can do but don't want to do. But that don't want to do is just because I feel like the woman, like herself, like just universal, like that's just her role. Like some shit we do for you guys that like it just makes shit just like going like just so smoothly, like and like these gender roles are so different because everybody can do different things. So like it's all based on the relationship, guy,
nice
girl,
balance.
girl.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into our next.
Hey, China, can I tell you? Can I say something?
Yes.
I was just listening to like they said men have to do. Me, I grew up in a household with no man. I watched my mama do everything. So for me, some women, can do it all. Like I watched my mama take out the trash. I watched my mama learn how to change a tire, change oil.
I did too.
So
I did too.
it's just like I feel like with the gender roles, I personally don't need a man to do all this stuff for me because I learned from my mom how to do it for myself. So
to me, that's dangerous. So to me, that's dangerous. Let me get this out. To me, that's dangerous. I think it's empowering. I think it's very empowering. However, I think it's dangerous, and I think it's dangerous to the masculinity of men because there's this trend of women saying, I don't need a man, which is okay. That's good, but what does that do to our ideal of relationships? A woman will be single forever.
Well,
right.
So
are you gonna die alone? Like,
So okay, so Tam, you identify as lesbian. So how does that apply to you when it's two women in a household and it's not a man because of who we are and what our preferences?
Well, how it goes in the gay community is always looked upon that the more masculine presented woman, as myself, is supposed to take on the roles of doing everything manly in a sense. When coming from the outside world, even in the gay world, the stud or butch or whatever you want to call it is supposed to take on that manly role. Like I'm doing all that stuff and opening doors. And
so how do you feel about that? Does that feel right? Do you feel like you want to do those things?
I feel like we sometimes get boxed into that. And I noticed that sometimes I do feel like I have to take on that role, which I don't, because at the end of the day, like me and my partner can share those responsibilities. Like we both can do this as women. So it's just like, we both can do this as women. So I just feel like sometimes I do fall into that because I am the more masculine presented person, that I fall into it. But sometimes I want to stay away from that because we're both women. We both can do this. Like I want to be equal with my partner. So,
but that's saying something that still innately women still want to feel like a woman, no matter which you identify as, how you dress, how you come off.
Wow.
Okay, Chris,
I want to.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to comment on what Jalen said, like just briefly, because I agree, like with what she said about like sometimes it being dangerous is how we grow up or what we see sometimes. Because I grew up with a single mom, and like she had to learn how to do everything by herself as well for a long time. She eventually got married, but what that did for me is I learned how to be a man, and I learned how to take care of myself, like for real. I can cook, I can clean, I wash, I do all that shit. And it's been detrimental to a lot of my relationships, though, because I can feel like, oh, I can do this shit myself. I really don't need you. And then it can make certain people feel.
That's how women are, though.
Yeah. But it makes them seem expendable sometimes, and it's bad.
It's
and it's not
because you have a single mother, so she raised you like you got to do all this for you. Not you have a father sitting back, you watching him chill, her do the laundry, her bring the plate, like different things like that. And my mother, for the first 13 years of my life, my mother was a single mom. So it was very hard. And I've had the stepdad adjustment, but I love my stepdad now as much as trust me, how those things go. But again, the single mom dynamic is tough. It's
But
something
it's hard.
sometimes we can't get past. It's hard on us, but
It's hard for them to be able to get past it though, China. Because like, I'm not gonna say I need a man, but I need my man. Your man might not come through.
because we have those innately within us that, you know, we can, I don't know. Let's talk about it. What purpose do gender roles play into your life? Now I want to really get into it. I'll start. I grew up with a single mother. My mom had to take out the trash, do all those things. And in big conversations that people have now is that women in the Black community can come out masculine or this, that, and the third because of the things we have to endure and take care of the kids. You got to be the mom. You got to be the dad. I've seen so many posts. This is my mom. This is my dad. We get all that. But on Thanksgiving, holidays, I was serving the men. Go bring food to your uncles. Go bring this. Go bring that. But I always like to cook, and I've always been highly feminine. I am one of those people. That's just how I am. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Now, jump. I'm in a relationship. I live with my partner. My mom didn't tell me though, China, you go serve him, you go give him the food. But when I say serve him, I don't want people to think like, oh, this, that, but think what you want. Dynamics. I make the plate, I bring in the water, I take the plate back. And I'm like, wow, I have other friends that make a joke to me like, you're domesticated, this, that, and the third. But this is what I preach, that women still should soften and should even consider these things, because ultimately men don't get these things, and some things that are considered traditional are some things that innately we want as humans, of being male and female. Now I'm just talking cisgender right now. I can only speak for me, but that's where I'm at. That's the purpose that they serve. I don't want to pay significant bills. I'm gonna pull a Kevin Samuels. I don't want to pay significant bills after I have a baby. Ideally, if I'm married and in a relationship, I'm waiting to have children. I'm trying to do it the right way. But I had a single mother who has taught me different things and beyond to break those generational curses. So I believe in gender roles. I think they're in cisgender relationships and things like that, straight relationships, the basics. I'm good with that. I don't want to do these things, but I've really had to feel like a woman and do my womanly things. And it's a lot though. It's been a huge adjustment. And Deja and I will talk about these things, to take care of a home, to not necessarily be taught, but you have innately a feeling you want to do it. Living with someone and taking care of someone and doing these things is hard, but innately I want to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Jalen, you can start us off, and panel, go ahead and chime in.
Whew, okay. Well, I was raised in an old school home. My mother was divorced. However, my mom is extremely feminine. My household was very gender role. Domesticated, I don't think of that as being something bad. I think it's a compliment personally from my experience. Now, for me, gender roles are vital. And I think gender roles just protect the development of relationships. It just makes sense to have gender roles, in my opinion. I want to cook. I want to clean. I want to make sure the house is put together nicely and it's smelling good and the decor is nice. I want to do those things.
So how do you feel about I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring. Goggle me, swallow me, get this out of me.
That's not true. That's not true.
She knows she's cleaning that house. She better shut up.
Right. That's just not true. even if she does have a housekeeper, because I think once you do get a certain tax bracket, you are going to have housekeepers. You are going to have these things. However, the way she takes care of her daughter, the way she handles the finances, the way she's his trophy in public, right? Those are the things that your role is as a woman. You know, men want his trophy. It is what it is. Men want, when his friends come over, he wants the beers on the table. He wants the snacks on the table laid out nice and neat. So when they come over, they know what it is, right? They know what it is.
But people call me domesticated and shame me. I have people be like, "You're domesticated. You're this, that, and the third.
You need a new circle."
And you got a happy home. You got a happy ass home, China.
No. Hold on. Danielle's a modern lady. Let's talk about it, hooligan.
Okay, so
Okay, Vortron, somebody got to mute.
So I think China, I would never shame you for how you and your partner choose to live. I think that is your choice. I personally, I am like, I have a very alpha personality. I don't mind if
you're gonna have a beta male. You're gonna make more money and you're gonna emasculate them.
I like the alpha guys, but it's just like big headbutt city. But
you can feminize a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, you can be alpha because I'm an alpha female.
I am too, but I know how to be soft with a man.
But this is my thought here. Like, I don't mind, like, how Jalen said, like, if people are coming over, like, you want to get, like, the food set up, the drink set up. But I think my, like, firm difference and, like, what I believe is I don't mind, like, doing stuff like that. But I never want to feel like I am there to strictly, like, serve someone and be there to, like, be their maid, be their chef, be whatever. Like, I think that there can be equal partnership. Like, this isn't stuff that, like, I mind doing, but I don't want that to be the expectation that I do everything around the house. That's just
way. What way were you raised in dynamics, if you may?
Yeah. So my parents were divorced, but they, it's very amicable. They've been divorced like 21 years. But I, like, even when it comes to, like, if something was wrong with the house or something like needed fixing, like, my dad would always come and help my mom. I think that they set up like a very good expectation of like kind of like how it is. But like I said, I don't mind like doing some of the more like womanly.
But you've seen your mom fall into her role as a woman and still allowing her ex-husband to still do this as your father. So she still wasn't, just because he's not in the household, not allowing him to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, she did do like a lot of stuff on her own, but she also had help. And I think there's nothing wrong with like getting help from a man. Like, I would be the first thing I call one of my friends every time something is fucking wrong in my house. I call him, hey, can you come help me? But like, I just don't ever like foresee myself being in a situation where I feel like I'm like a Stepford wife and I'm like obligated to do all this stuff. Like, that's just not.
Now, could it be just you don't like to cook? Maybe you're not the house making type. Could it just be that's just not in your personality? Let's open to the panel.
But you will be, Danielle. You will be one of them.
But not all women are doing that.
But not
I think it's like a two-way street if you're living with somebody. I don't think it's like a man to do this thing.
Yeah.
Deja than Livy.
And no, I agree. But this is why I say you will be, Danielle. Not necessarily you'll be domesticated. You'll be everything what a woman's supposed to be. But you will do whatever your partner likes because you love them. It's not about being domesticated. It's not about, literally, I'm alpha too. Pretty much, I feel like every female on here is alpha. We are very strong individuals.
Yeah, they're very scary sometimes.
I swear. But when Anthony be like, you need to sit down, all right. I'm gonna sit down like I'm not.
And also, I think it's finding someone that's scarier than you, because trust me, it's men in the world that can dominate the most dominatrix.
Okay.
You just get a lot of betas, but alpha women attract beta males. But feminine energy comes out in the presence of masculine energy. And that's proven psychologically in any circumstance. I'm putting that out there.
I do agree with Deja when it comes to like, you will do like what is like good for like your partner and like what helps make your partner's life easier, because your partner in turn will do the same for you. Mm-hmm. I just think that they're like, the way I am, like there's like a strong line for me where if like it's something that helps make our life easier versus.
Well, what is your line? What would it look like? Let's add it, because you know you're older, so you know what you expect, and you have lived your life for this long. You ain't old, but you know what I'm saying. You ain't 21. Like, you're in your 20s. I'm 25, and you a year tad older than me, so we old. In that circle. Are you gonna want to cook?
I'm not old, guys. I'm beautiful and young.
I'm digging on you more, Danielle, because you have more opposite of what the ladies are saying. I haven't gotten to JoJo yet, but you know what do you want to do in your household?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's just kind of like taking the fair share. Like, I work a full-time job. Like, I am a very busy person. Like, I'll never be that person where like, I feel like I've said this on my show before, like where my boyfriend's going to come home from work at the same time as me. And like the whole house is going to be clean. There's going to be a pot roast in the oven every night. Like all that shit. Like that's just not tangible with my career and with my lifestyle. I think it's really give or take, but I'm not gonna cook, clean, do the laundry every single night. Like that's like I am not like unless you're paying me to do all this extra shit. Like I'm not gonna be the only one responsible for every single thing.
No, do that, but my house is clean.
So what if he's providing? He's your partner. You want to do it, so he has to pay you. But we talking about a husband, not just any man. But have you lived with someone before or a partner?
No.
Oh, that's why y'all
That's a
know.
different conversation. Let's have it. That's a
my
different
house is
conversation. Let's have it.
My house is gonna stay clean, Danielle. You want to know why? Because I like a clean house, and my man like a clean house too. And I get good stuff with my house clean.
I get shopping
so I get things that come in handy. Yeah, I get very good things.
Speaking it into an existence.
Yeah, and it's that's what I'm saying. Like Danielle, I get what you're saying when you say China's not domesticated. I'm not domesticated. You know, Miss Renee is not. We're not domesticated. It's just you like a clean house, so you clean your house, and it just so happened that you and your man live together.
So what if men innately don't have that trait? Okay, we're not a Chris Orange. Okay, so let's just say that most men are dirty because my man is dirty.
All of them.
So let's just say that means we're not cleaning, like, or
Cap,
we're not
cap,
cleaning,
cap,
or
cap.
because men don't innately. We just said this. Men don't want to do it. Men don't want to do those things.
Men
They'll
can't
do
clean
it,
like
but he don't want to.
Period.
Yeah,
But I
will say,
feel like I feel like as a woman, like
Damn.
if you're working all day and like say if your husband gets home earlier before you, I feel like at the end of the day, if I'm coming in later than you, you should also make sure that this house is clean as well. That I'm not gonna come off from a long day of working my ass off, and then gotta come home, wash the
And clean
clothes,
after you.
watch these
Right.
badass kids.
It's
and
a
do all
partnership.
that. So I
Badass
feel like at the end of the day,
Okay,
it
hold-
has to be
So
a-
maybe my perspective is
But people have been doing it since the crack of dawn. So why
No,
are
our
we
grandmas did it.
We're in a new
Grandmas.
age.
They're
Grandmas,
kids.
grandmas.
No, we are in
This
a
is
new
why
age.
everybody's going to be single. This is why they're not.
Hey,
Some
so
women are
I'm
just
looking
untouchable.
at it. I'm looking at
Like,
it from
what are we
perspective.
Why-
doing? It's no hope.
I'm
Why-
looking at it from a
It's
perspective
okay.
of my
I've
man
lost
going to
hope.
work.
Why should
Right?
women be responsible for everything? Like
But
that's
y'all-
my thought.
but it's not
No,
everything
just be a
though.
woman.
It's not.
It's not everything though. It's not
Dominate
everything.
Why
It's
do we
not.
want to be a man?
I
No,
don't.
no.
I
Well,
don't.
then put man or a non-binary or them they on your birth certificate if you want to be a man so bad. That's
It's called a
I think y'all gonna be a man.
partnership.
Yes,
But
Jojo,
it has
Partnership.
yes.
Partnership.
The woman does what the man can't do, and the man does what the woman can't do or doesn't want to do.
Hey, speaking of partnership,
Jojo, because
It's
my
a
man clean
partnership.
the kitchen, and I hate cleaning the kitchen. My man cooks the meals, and I hate cooking.
Right, it's a partnership. You guys
There you
balance.
go.
You are
Yeah, it's
supposed
not
to
necessarily like a
compliment
gender
each other.
thing.
Okay,
Like the
everybody
women should
talk-
do this
okay,
and
we
the
gotta
men
say
should
that,
do
we gotta-
this. It's
we gotta-
like
okay.
you both should do it because you guys live together, and that's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay, but we're talking this very simply, but it just does not pan this way. So let's be real. It just
yeah,
does not
people
pan like
fucking
that.
litter.
Danielle,
But I
can
feel
say
like the
something to
difference
Danielle
between
real
back
quick?
Somebody
then-
always gonna be doing more.
Wait,
the
Jalen
difference
wants to
between
talk
back
to
then
me.
and today is that women back then you knew a lot of women back then didn't
They
work.
didn't
They
work.
wasn't really
They
allowed to
didn't.
work. They didn't have the
Mhm.
education to work.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
so yeah, you had more housewives.
They were
that
happy.
at home, cooking,
Nope,
clean,
no, it
all
wasn't.
that.
Been cheated on? Absolutely not. So
But like now, women are more progressive. We're working.
Yeah.
We got our own careers. We got our own thing. So it's just like at the
But
end
these
of the day, I feel
women
like
end up lonely, Tam.
because they don't know how to make it a partnership. They don't know
Not
how
all
to
of them.
compromise. They don't know
Not
how
all of
to
them.
it's not
make a
wrong.
I
all
relationship.
of
want to say
50-50.
something to Danielle real quick.
Go ahead.
So Danielle, what I think I hear you saying is, I live this particular lifestyle, right? And my partner has to not only understand this lifestyle or have this similar lifestyle. Not more so. I don't need a man, and I didn't hear you say that, but I'm just saying you're not so feeling like I don't need a man. It's more so I need a particular partner that can understand my lifestyle and we work together, rather that's hiring a maid or hiring somebody to do our meal prep. However, he's still a man and he still has that role in my life. My lifestyle is just different. I'm not Jalen, who is wanting a husband that does most of the work outside of the home while she works from home and takes care of the kids, right? I'm a woman that wants to go to the office and work. So, and I think that's okay. But I think that gets confused with, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. No, we just all have different lifestyles. We all have different desires. And that's why the danger in saying I don't need a man. Like, yes, you do, sis.
Yes, I do.
Prefer.
I need mine.
You need a partner.
No, 100%. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, I'm a hustler. I'm very busy. Like, I'm very career oriented. Like, I need like my man to be the same way, or else it won't mesh, because I can't date like a Joe Schmo that's just like blobbing around, because I'm gonna be like, all right, well, I'm doing this, 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 and this. I need someone that like their lifestyle is on like the same trajectory as myself. That was a better job of explaining this than I.
But that's really what a relationship is. People think a relationship is a man does this and a woman does this. A relationship is not based on this is what a man does and a woman does. It's compromise. It's partnership. It's making decisions together. You need to find somebody that fits in your lifestyle. You need to find somebody that complements you and can do the things that you either can't do or don't want to do. If you can't cook, you want somebody that can cook, whether it's male or female. I can cook. I love to cook. I love to clean. I love to make my home. Like, it just keeps my mind at ease. But like, I also want a man that can pick up the slack and do the dishes and make a meal if I'm sick, or, you know, if you're have a baby and you need, you know, that downtime, they need to be able to drive to the store and pick up and be responsible. You just want somebody responsible who also has a similar mindset as you, which is not the same as,
hey JoJo,
you don't need a man.
Hey JoJo, I just like to put out there that my man just stood behind the camera and said, yes, you are correct.
Yeah,
he gave you the thumbs up.
Yeah.
If you need some help.
Realistically, nobody talks about this shit until we move in together.
Q, I want to hear from you, and I want to hear from Chris. I haven't heard from our men. Go ahead.
Nah, I was gonna say, realistically, nobody talks about this shit until you move in or get to coexist with somebody, because then you get to see like
so it
habits
is
and
different
shit.
dynamic of moving in.
Like you're so busy. You're so busy just vibing and getting to know one another and like just trying to understand one another and like what you want out of the relationship. Then it hits you like, oh shit, like this person don't clean up, or this person don't, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. It's really crazy, but very important to like. I'm not too sure how to even like start those conversations. To be honest, like it just like happens so fast and naturally, I guess.
Just do it. You talk when you live with somebody. You talk about any and everything. I talk about any and everything. We talk about everything together. When kids, marriage, hey, I want you to start putting both your socks in the dirty clothes instead of just one. Exactly. And if you don't want to do it, then it's something you either choose to deal with it or you don't. But that's why I was saying to Danielle, when you find somebody, girl, you'll do whatever. You will do whatever. You will do whatever it takes. So,
but it's important to have boundaries.
Yeah,
definitely.
Don't have your boundaries.
Absolutely. Don't become him just because you with him. No.
Yeah, none of these women are doing these things unwillingly or against their own.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm still me. I still hurt you and your baby mama, but I'm gonna love my man though. Like that's just what it is.
Right. On that note, the next question for the panel is. It just gets more and more spicy. I'm sorry. This is what it's for. Who does more in our society, men or women? Chris, 6. Let's talk about it.
Here you go.
Why you gotta start with me for this question? Like,
I like.
Let Q start. Let Q start.
I'll start.
Let Q start.
Spot too. No question.
Q wanna start.
Real shit. Like I'm only 26. Yeah, I'm 26. I'm only 26. But like there's this saying that says women change the course of history, and that shit has like infinite like amount of meanings, because I feel like yes, we have like men we have this bias and like unfair advantage in a lot of financial situations, physically, and but women's
So who does
intuition-
the general? Who does more?
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to it. Women's intuition and just role in society and will, like that shit changes the game for me personally, because you guys just know what you want in a lot of categories when we don't, just because we aren't even that emotionally high and that like emotionally intelligent to even understand what we want, just because we have so much fucking pressure. I feel like women do so much more because you guys create this balance, this hidden balance that isn't appreciated or isn't really acknowledged. If you understand what I'm saying.
I think men do
All
more.
right, I want to let Chris go. No.
Well, first I'm gonna say this. Like, if y'all have ever like really encountered like a real man, I would have to say a man does more, and that's not taken away from anything a woman does, because a woman gives birth. Like,
Right,
that's
we can
huge.
What is a real
Like
man?
that.
See, that's disrespectful, right there. Like,
Yeah, what's
women
a
give
real
birth.
man?
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him define.
A real man is a real man is someone who just takes care of like all the responsibilities and don't say a word about it. Like a real man is gonna take the pressure off of his woman. Like, you're gonna do that shit just because it's like, okay, I have the ability to do this. I can take pressure off of her. Let me just go ahead and do this. And then they don't complain about it. Cause like it was an OG that told me this. Like, I asked him, how your day going? He was, oh, I can't complain, wouldn't help anyway. And that was real shit. That's a real man. Like, you go about your day, you handle your business, you help others, and you don't complain about it. You just do it. And men have to tackle, like a real man has to take on so much in this world, because just like how society is, it kind of sucks to be a man nowadays, because like you hear it like on social media all the time. Oh, I don't need a man. Like, hearing that constantly, like that, damn. But like, to be a real man is like you taking care of your shit. You trying to make your life better for your partner, for your kids, for your family, for everybody, and then you don't say shit about it. You don't make no complaints. And like, women, they like to vent to us, like all the women in your life. Is because here's the thing. Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. This is why I say men do more. Is because there's a lack of real men in the world.
True.
There's a lot of real women out in the world, but there's a lack of like legitimate men in the world, and that's with a lot of things. Like, a lot, like to see how many women just feel uncomfortable. Like, uncomfortable, whether it's walking down the street, going to a gas station, walking in the park, just because so many other men are creeps. Those aren't real men. So all the real men have to step up and do more.
Yes.
There's a lot of amazing women in the world, like shit.
Yeah.
But real men, we
Who
lack
does
that.
more?
I had to go men nowadays.
Men
Like,
do more.
So Deja says men. Chime in.
I
Panel. Rest of y'all.
Men,
I say women. I say women.
Livy, we
Women.
haven't heard from you in a minute. Go expand.
I don't know. I mean, I could be biased. I grew up in a very,
I'm hella biased.
female dominant household, and
So
I
do
am an
seeing having a
independent
dominant
woman
mother,
myself.
does that affect
So-
you? Seeing having a household where mother maybe more dominant?
Yeah, I think so. I think it does. How you're raised affects you.
So are you open to seeing or other sides of things than how you were just raised?
Yeah, I'm always open. But I was also raised to be independent, and I just happen to be an independent woman. So I might be biased by saying that I do believe that women do more, play the birth card. I'll play the birth card,
But I think is it a difference between, because I was raised with a single mom too. My mom could do everything. My mom was a superwoman, but I also was raised around uncles, cousins. My granddaddy, that's my heart. Like, I do anything for that man because he is a real man. I watched him take care of his family, and when my dad was like, "Peace," my granddad was like, "All right, come on." So
it just hits a little bit different, but then I'm going to say this: dynamics of Black households and white households are completely different. And let's just say it.
That's true.
Our households are much differently, but this is why we have the conversation. This is why we have different races. This is why we have different people on the panel. So let's talk about it.
To me, Adam was created first. So men do more. However, women do what's more impactful. So
Okay.
a man does more. You can do a lot of things and it's not necessarily makes an impact. Women, we do less, but we always make an impact. That's just my personal opinion.
Is that impact positive or negative to you overall?
Both. Because a woman could say, I'm done with men, right? And that means some guys out there, whoever her soulmate, he out there by himself, right? He's gonna die alone, as she may too. So I think women, as far as we bring life into this world. Yes, a man gets us pregnant, but we give birth. So everything we do has a greater impact than what a man has. Every time you shot that sperm in me, but I pushed that baby out, right? You can't push a baby out. So as a woman, my impact is always going to be greater. That's why God made Eve second, because Adam needed help, because
balance.
God had a purpose.
And I will say, real men recognize real women and acknowledge when their women are doing something, and they do want the help meet, as they say, and someone to come in. Tam, I want you to chime in because it's still different dynamics. I want to cover all of those. Let's talk about that.
Or
what role does this even play in your life? Is this even relevant? Let's talk about it.
I mean, I guess it can be relevant. I mean, like I said, I grew up with a single mom. I seen her do everything like herself. I didn't have, like, growing up fully, I didn't have like super male figures until like I got a little older, where, you know, my dad that I call, you know, stepped in and took on that father figure that I kind of was, you know, missing. But I feel like that's any little girl when they don't have a father figure. They're kind of missing that, you know, that part. So for me, like, I feel like women do a lot more. I feel like nowadays in the media, you see women pushing things. You see women stepping up, doing the Me Too movement. You see women running for office. You see these women taking on all these roles and pushing for change. And a lot of times, not saying that you don't see like a lot of men pushing for these same changes, but a lot of these organizations you see in the forefront is a woman.
They didn't start out that way until women pushed for it. So
right, and I feel like we do so much more as women. Like Jalen said, we give birth. We give birth to these. You know, we give birth to a man. We give birth to a girl. So we are that person that push out, you know, this generation and raise them up to do whatever they want to do. But I feel like women have a much more impact on the world as of right now. That's what I see. I feel like our women, especially like our Black women, are doing so much more in this generation now. So yeah.
I do think what Six said earlier was very interesting about kind of like the lack of real men. And I'm not trying to like put anyone down, but I do agree with kind of what you said about a real man just like
You're not putting nobody down. Talk about it. It's not a lot of real men out here.
So I agree, because I have a lot of like guy friends that like I would consider them like a real man, because they're just, if they see something needs to get done, they'll say, all right, you know what? You need me to do this. Okay, cool. Here you go. And I say, thank you. And they call it a day. And like men like that, I do think do more. And those ones that are in my life, like I am very thankful for. But there's also a lot of men that I know that are very much like, oh, like figure it out on your own. Just do it. Like, and they aren't willing to kind of like go forward and help. So in that standpoint, I think if there were more of the guys, like the ones I was just talking about, that will like handle stuff and just help you, I think if there was more of those, I would say men do more. But there's like a lot of bitch boys
women
right now.
Men aren't even letting women bring out their femininity or for them to even handle things. Women feel like they got to do it. It's a lot of, I watch true crime. We talk about true crime. Men are predators as well. So it's still scary.
Well, and the thing is, though, I feel like a lot of women do stuff on their own because there are just like, there's a lot, like I just said, there's a lot of bitch boys now that make girls feel like, you know what, just do it on your own. Like they're just going to like huff and puff and bitch and complain about it. So that's what makes girls. But there's a lot of fucking weird ass dudes. There's a lot of weird ass dudes that girls would just prefer to avoid. But I think it's the dynamic of the two different types of guys that Chris was talking about. Like, there's the ones that'll just handle their business, help out, and not say anything about it. And then there's the whiny bitch boys. So there's too many whiny bitch boys right now. I think we need a little bring it back around. But that might just also be based on my dad. Like, my dad is not a whiny bitch boy. My dad handles the business and just goes. Moving on. Like,
so you have a different expectation, and that's what I'm saying. You still he handled his business. You know, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to help y'all extra. Some dads don't. So you still had a dad that was like, this is my responsibility. Still, the mother of my child and my child, to make sure y'all are always taken care of. Y'all are good.
Well, and that set my expectation too for like the types of guys that I would date. Because I just think, like, how would my dad react around this man? Would he say, "What the fuck's wrong with him?"
That's real, though. Yep. But that's not bad.
Exactly. I mean, what the fuck's wrong with him? Or no, this is a good guy.
They literally
say my dad's vocal.
As we get older, we choose. I mean, as men, you either choose somebody that is, you know, just as strong as your mom or stronger, or, and, you know, as a woman, or obviously if you are lesbian or gay, whatever, you know, you choose the person who was in your life that you thought was the strongest, basically. You know, you want somebody like that in your life to be your partner because you need somebody that complements you. But I was going to say, like, I grew up in a household where I had my mom and my dad, and I've seen, you know, my mom be really progressive and have her own business and her own daycare. And then I've seen my dad physically work really hard, like labor, masonry, you know, building houses, things like that. My dad cooks, my dad has cleaned, you know, does the laundry, whatever. So I would say in my life, I've had like a real man, you know, to see like the things that you know, my expectations of what my husband, boyfriend, whatever would be as well. And like, that is really where I think, you know, our type of ideal of like gender roles and who we might perceive does more in society. So if you grow up in a household and you see your mom just doing and doing and doing, you might be like, well, women do more. And I would say, in the sense, if we're gonna bring pregnancy and birth into this, yeah, the women does more on that end physically, because we have to carry and nurture the child and physically birth the child. But I don't know if I would say, I don't know if I necessarily have a preference of like men or women do more. Like, I don't have.
Let me talk to you about this real quick, because this is how we get down. So in my life, and I will say this, I've used pretty privilege. I've used dressing up. I use my hair, my makeup. Women innately just have your body, yaddy, and you can get a millionaire. That's really how it is. And in certain circumstances, women can still get access to things much easier than men. So for me, I think that men have it a little bit harder or a little bit tougher, but they can handle it. But I still am confused of whether I still feel like women have it easier. So that's why I feel like men do more, because subjectively, whether it's physically or day-to-day basis, I still feel like men would do more if we were really going to look for jobs. I think a lot about jobs. Yeah. I just look a lot of jobs that women just don't do. So when I think about physical labor and things like that, like you said, your dad's a masonry, like you see those things, you work with your hands. People have fathers who are construction workers, carpenters, engineers, those things. So I think we see that other side of it a little bit more, maybe, but I want to raise that question. Go ahead.
Even in high school, I was going to say, like, how you brought up the job thing, like, the guys were able to get factory jobs at $14 an hour, while I was only able to get, you know, $7, $8 an hour, maybe working at McDonald's or, you know, working at, you know, a restaurant. Obviously, you're not getting paid $7 an hour. You're getting tips for, you know, your physical labor, but your physical labor is not the dishwasher in the back doing all the nasty work. And he's probably getting paid, you know, $12 an hour or whatever. But, you know, off of tips, I'm making more because I'm physically doing more in that aspect of that job, but I can't go and apply for a a factory job, you know, a GM or whatever, and get it over a guy, they're going to choose the guy because they want the strength and, you know, stuff like that. But Q definitely touched on how women technically mature sooner. Like, it's just, you know, it's science, it's a fact, it's proven that we are emotionally mature sooner, and we definitely do know what we want beforehand. And I think with our emotions, you know, like Jalen said, like, we lead in that. And so we definitely, you know, might do more emotionally in the relationship. We might do more as in the homemaker. And, you know, from a God side or Bible side, we do more in that sense because Adam needed the partner to complement him. But I don't know necessarily what I would say. Like, girl does more, guy does more, just because.
If you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I would say if it was like 10 years ago, I would probably say guy, men. But now seeing the progress that we have created and made on top of the foundation that guys set, I would say women do more now in our society.
Era. And I think that's a point. Modern era women, you know, we haven't talked about how different dynamics can fail men as well and not make them up to be a man. You know, on our panel, we have Chris, who's the man's man, and then we have Q, who is someone who's very cognizant of women, how they feel and what they do. So we still have two prime panel members. So we don't really get to see the struggling, you know, dog-ass, horrible, you know, bitch men or whatever we call it. But
we don't want that. No bitch boys here. No bitch boys here. No.
We gotta put one on. We gotta put a bitch boy in the panel. Chris, I haven't heard from you in a little bit. How you feeling?
I mean, well, you gotta ask me another question because I feel like I gave my.
All right, so you good on it. All right, so he good. All right, we'll leave it. Last question of the night: traditional or modern standards? Now, you can take traditional to be Bible thumping or Susie homemakers or 9-to-5 homemakers, stay at homes, whatever you want to say for traditional. Your dad comes home, breadwinner, the usual white picket fence traditional, or modern women who could die happily without having a man. Now, in our modern era, we haven't seen these women get 80 or 90 and see if they're lonely or not, or we haven't seen this yet, but we don't know. Which one are you picking? Modern or traditional standards?
Traditional standards.
Can I do a hybrid?
We'll start with you. Hybrid, and then we'll go ahead to Livy, then Chris.
Yeah, I would like it in the middle because, like, obviously I'm not trying to be alone, but I also don't like, I would like to be able to like have my career and do what I want to do. But I would like a man to carry heavy things for me and help in that kind of sense. Like, I don't want to say like,
but I don't feel like we can't have both. Like, we can't have a big say and then, you know, you boss him around because he's not going to want to do that.
No. I don't mean like boss him around, but like, I want someone that is like a real man. Like Chris was saying earlier, like to be there and to help, but I don't want to ever be like put in the June Cleaver situation with my like apron and my fucking vacuum, like not having a job. Like, that's not my move.
Okay. So which one will you ultimately pick? You have to pick one. You can't say both.
I would say modern. Like, but that's not me saying I want to be alone, but like, it's modern. Like, it is kind
of saying you want to be alone. We don't know yet. We don't know how you're going to end up. We don't know how you're going to end up, Danielle. We don't know. I'm messing with you.
I'm going to end up with Pete Davidson. Leave me alone. I'm just kidding. We
got to go to New Jersey and get that genderless birth certificate. That's where he is. That's where. All right, Livy Rose. You said modern. Let's talk about it.
So I live alone. You know, I'm kind of content with it. And I don't know if that'll last.
Make you modern, because I have lived alone a lot of times in my life. Wait, what? Sorry, you cut out. Just because you live alone doesn't make you necessarily modern. It could just be circumstance. I don't need anybody to do anything for me. I don't need a man or a woman necessarily. I just need myself at the end of the day. Would you like
it? I enjoy it because.
Why can't we leave with what we like? I'm going to challenge you because you're my friend. And I know you a little bit. But
I think you can like what you like. I'm not hating on anybody that likes it traditional. I'm just saying for me personally, I like a more modern approach to things. I'm very independent. I like to do things on my own. You know, I'm very friend and family oriented, and I do like to date and I do like to do that stuff, but I'm not, you know, I'm not reliant on that. I'm reliant on myself because at the end of the day, I've had to learn to love myself in a different way that a lot of other people haven't seen or don't know about me. And I've
do you
come a
feel
long
like
way.
that makes you
for that.
modern, or is that just our journey as a woman in loving ourselves?
I think
Because you
it,
said
I
you
think it
love your
does.
family, you want to see your family. That sounds a little traditional.
I mean, my family's not super traditional. We're very dysfunctional. So I guess it just depends, you know, on your household. But mine was more modern. Like my parents did equal and stuff like that. My dad never like did anything more than my mom. In fact, my mom did a lot more than my dad. Not hating on my dad, but my dad worked a lot, and then my mom also worked a lot, but did a lot for me and my sister as well. And it is, you know, that's just how I grew up.
But that would seem a little traditional if mom is still doing her 9 to 5 and doing her thing or her hours and still making sure that you guys and your sister are taken care of. Would that not be traditional?
I mean, growing up, it was, but they taught me to be more independent. Like they raised me to be like, you don't need us, you know, at a certain age, after a certain age, obviously 18 and over. You don't need us. You need to rely on yourself because at the end of the day, we're not always going to be here for you. So
That
that's
leaving
how
the
they
next
raised.
area.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So let's talk about that. So getting out the house, how we're raised. We got a couple people we ain't hear from. How you feeling? What side are you on? You got to pick one.
Wait,
Lindsay Rose made some good points. She made some good
what are
points.
these standards again about? Because I'm like really stoned and I really forgot about that.
Traditional, basic, Susie homemaker, 9 to 5. You're cooking, making sure
like involving a relationship.
We're splitting bills. We're, you know, I
Oh.
do the laundry one day, you do laundry the other day. If you want to do it, I'm not. But like the splitting of the bill, real thing. Like I don't need it. We got it. We good. Very much so forward thinking, which is not bad because people have gotten far doing those things. So, Q, how you feeling about it? Okay, let's phone. Are you on the phone a friend?
At Chris Orange.
Well, okay, Chris, go ahead, get it. Chris, go ahead, help a friend.
I have to go with traditional because, like I said it before earlier, I'm a simple man, and there's so much peace and simplicity sometimes. Like I'm gonna go to a Beyonce song. This is low key. This is what's the group? I can't think of. Wow, I can't think of the group right now.
Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child. Yeah. Wow. I really. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I drew a blank. I'm sorry. But they had a song. Catered to You. And when I think about that song, that like describes a relationship that I would want to be in. But I don't think traditional. Like I think we're like looking at like these gender roles and like looking at I feel like we're looking at the bad parts about it. Like the parts that the man does, we haven't really talked about that. Like all we've talked about is
y'all to talk about it because the comments are saying it's very male dominated.
It's very biased.
Female dominated.
Yeah, I mean we have a panel of like how many? Let's see, it was 9 of us on here. It was like 7 women.
Yeah, but they want to hear your input because the way that Chris thinks, believe it or not, is how a lot of men think. So we need to see the disconnect between women who say modern and men who want traditional because men innately are going to be more traditional whether we like it or not. So let's talk about it.
Well, I feel like
you don't know what the fuck. My bad, bro. You first.
Okay, so I feel like part of the problem is like first of all of us are super young still. We haven't really got into like where we want to be yet. So it's like hard to like put ourselves in positions where like, oh, we can say we want this and that yet when we're not exactly where we need to be or want to be yet. Like we're not even in our primes yet. And it's like when I think of a traditional relationship, I guess if I have to pick between one or two, that's gonna be like where I'm like fully developed in my career. I can comfortably have kids. I want to do everything how I want to do it, like or how the relationship would be fit. Like, yeah, I would like to pay the mortgage, pay the bills, and shit, mow the lawn, take the garbage out, do that shit. And then I'm not saying my wife don't have to have a job, but she, like, if she wants to have a job, that's perfect. I would like for my wife to work. That helps you become that helps you be a person, like,
Let's talk
just
about
a
it.
well-rounded
You're
individual.
traditional, but you are open to having your wife having a job.
And I don't want you to say that word at all. Letting, like, no, like that's something she
That's why I
wants to
corrected.
do.
That's why I corrected myself.
Yeah.
But some men in some circumstances, again with finances and context, will still say that this is an option for you. And I know some women take the option and some women don't. And I know we're not there yet, but we still know the basis of where you need to be for what you want to offer to a young lady.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess my thing is, like, I think someone said it, like, it helps you be a rail-bonded individual if you want to work. It gives you like the consistent schedule. You can feel complete about yourself. You can feel accomplished with what you're doing.
So what
You have
if she
your
worked
own
for
money.
10 years before you? I mean, I know how to work. I've had consistent schedules. I know what work is. I've done all that. What if I don't want to do it no more?
That's perfectly fine. If I'm where I need to be, where I can support everything, that's perfectly fine with me, because then I know you're gonna be taking care of everything at the crib. And like, to be able to come to a crib where everything is taken care of, like,
It does come with time, though. It does come with time. So we will acknowledge that. It does come with time.
It do, and that's why I think a lot of the problem comes in. Like, everybody is rushing it. Like, we don't realize like how young we are. Like, everybody's having these conversations and these disputes, but it's like we're rushing it. We see other people doing well. We see celebrities with all this
we're
money.
rushing it, yes, but it's like in still certain circumstances, women cannot carry children after certain ages. It's still other dynamics that I feel like we're still losing in our generation. I don't think you want to still be 50, 60, 70 and having a 5-year-old, maybe. I mean, I don't know. If that's the case, yes, but I think it's still some good parts to it as well.
And I agree with that, but like me myself, I'm 24. I'm not even 25 yet, and I'm just now deciding to go back to get a master's because I see how messed up the world is. To be honest, it's like you used to have a bachelor's and get a job like out the gate, 50, 60,000, maybe something like that. Now that ain't even a thing. Like, not for real, for real. You have to go back. Like, you have to go back, and it sucks, but it's like it's the best thing to do for like longevity purposes.
So in different cultures, and this has been brought up on different dating platforms, men and women maneuver differently. In a lot of cultures, men and women will still go to school. They will still be married. But in our Black culture and urban culture, we're always told to wait when we are not, encouraged to necessarily build together.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
You on point with that.
Jalen, or Chris, whomever.
I just feel like we've seen so much struggle. It's like you're not trying to like continue the trend of struggle.
But I didn't think we will struggle that way because we were already set up to be more successful than what we were placed in out the womb.
We might be set up, but we're still struggling. Like, there's no generational wealth still. It's like we might be going to school, but we also taking out loans. Like, that ain't free money. It's like we have to pay that back. So it's
you
like
feel those pressures of to have the, you want to be the provider male. You are traditional, but you need some time to get there.
Yeah, I have to, like, I'm trying to break the curses. Like, I'm trying to break the curses, and I can't like let anything like throw me off track. Like, I wanna break the curses, and I want to build my relationships as well, but I can't, like, I have to balance the two.
So are you in it? So if you find a young lady, whatever you have going on now, whatever, you gonna make her wait until you're where you need to be, or can we have a conversation that she loves you, we're here, or are you gonna make the women wait until you're where you want to be? Because I've had people who I've liked and loved a lot who's like, wait. And I think the men wanting to be where they're at, if you're just showing loyalty and different things that women need innately, that we're more willing to. But I think the wait, women ain't always willing to wait. Because if you are a young man who is going to school, who is getting his money up, it's other people that can just snatch or other things. Because it's competitive in men's nature. So.
And I wouldn't say I'm the person that's gonna make anybody wait, because I do want someone to grow with me. But I'll be honest, it does have to be in a way on my time, because I can't have anybody rush me. I can't rush my process.
You gotta just have somebody that fits into what you're trying to do. They need to be doing similar stuff as you
Exactly.
to actually build with you. And I feel like
I feel like
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Like,
it don't fit.
So
like
Q,
I need somebody who's willing to understand that I'm trying to grow my social media. I have this to do on Wednesday night. I also take my clients. I need somebody that's willing to be in a committed relationship, that we are able to both grow together, that we're both possibly working towards something. We're both going to school. We're both proactive in our future. We're both thinking about our future, while we
I just feel like most men aren't going to be on that same.
I thought you meant the same career. I was like, that's
yeah, no, not the same career. We can have different careers, but you need to understand that I am trying to get to a certain level in my life. Some people are okay with literally just living in the hometown, like basically just say like all our parents, they're pretty average, I would assume, like, whether they're divorced or, together, they live in, as much as a $400,000 house or lower. They possibly both work, if not 1 to 2 jobs, and, they possibly had kids young or, whatever. So like, that's their dynamic. They've maybe gone to school. They maybe don't even have a GED. They maybe have, an okay, decent car, but I would say possibly all of us on the panel are more towards, we're trying to obviously have a very large social media platform. We're trying to have a lot of money, take away that money means something or whatever, but we're trying to have a lot of money. We want nice things. We want our kids to have a college fund. We want our kids to have a nice car, like, things like that. We're trying to break generational, gaps or
curses.
Versus, we're trying to better ourselves and obviously our future families, and we want to be at a certain spot mentally. We see where we want to be in our heads. So you need somebody to complement what we want in our future, and they need to have the same goals, basically. Otherwise, you're gonna clash in the relationship, and you're not gonna, fit, and you're not gonna work out, and you're not gonna be able to build together. They're gonna hold you back. Like my ex, we were together for 3 years, and I did most of the male roles as long as the female roles. Like, he just held me back basically to where I wasn't able to grow, and I possibly could have been at the point that I wanted to be, with building my social media.
But those are still negative factors, but do you feel that affects you now and how you move?
A little bit, but it only affects me as the standards that I will allow somebody to be my partner while I'm trying to get where I want to be. Otherwise, I will have a partner and I will be like, these are the things I expect from you because this is currently what I'm doing. I have a car, I'm paying off my debt, I want to go back to school, I want to build my social media back up, I want to do YouTube. Like, social media takes a lot of time, especially music.
But I will say this, that they will take it on though. If you find somebody, they'll take it on. They'll understand what I come with. I have a degree in acting. I told this man, I don't come with nothing. I don't really have. I got me and $10 million if I make it. So let's see.
But you also have a work ethic. You have cooking skills. You have, emotional, mental skills that are higher than other people's. So, you're going to have a communication level that's above most other, relationships, where a lot of relationships are still very immature. Communicating. So, you feel me? I know you feel me.
I have something for Chris.
Go ahead.
So Chris, I heard you say that if I'm not where I want to be, then she possibly has to wait. So, as a person who has just gotten out of a relationship after dealing with a man who constantly, I'm not where I want to be yet, that's dangerous. Because no matter how many tax brackets you move up, there's always another one, right? There's always another one above it. And don't get caught up in the comfortability of it being a number. A number, I mean, a number has value, but when you have a woman beside you to push you to, I mean, that woman can push you up 4 tax brackets with just how she thinks, right? So definitely be comfortable. Okay, be comfortable, but don't hold on to that burden of financially I'm not ready. Financially I don't have it. Financially I don't have the Rolls Royce. I don't have the $2 million house yet. So I'm not ready.
So how did that make you feel? Because you're telling Chris, you know, advice. How did that make you feel? And as much as you want to share, coming out of that relationship with someone who's reaching and trying, you know, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel it enlightened me, right? It let me know that there are a lot of men that get good women and they're so anxious to have money, right? I have to have money. I have to have money when they have this strong woman behind them that can take them to the next level with just her ability as a woman, right? However, I'm a woman. I know my worth. Okay. I might have kind of slipped back. I might have kind of stayed longer than I should have. Right. Because I'm an advocate by nature. I took a personality test. I'm an advocate. Right. So I want to help people see their potential. I want to help people see their growth. However, if you're holding on to this burden of, I'm not there yet, as long as you keep saying you're not there, you'll never be. You don't know what opportunity one of your deans could pull you up and say, hey, I got an internship and we're going to pay you $1 million for the year. You never know. So don't hold that burden onto you. Speak affirmations to yourself. And if you know your wife is in front of you, don't wait. What you waiting for? You know your wife, right? You know your wife. Don't wait. Don't make your wife wait. Don't do it.
And that's a beautiful thing to say, because those are the pressures that we have so deeply in our community, especially as Black men.
Yes.
So I ultimately, it almost brings tears to my eyes because I acknowledge those things. It's hard. It's very, very difficult.
Yes.
But Black women are known to hold down and to be there even sometimes longer than we need to be. But I think that's beautiful advice, even for everyone listening and all of those things. So on that note, you guys, we're going to go ahead and finish up.
If I'ma spend, I gotta pay for some friends. Let me pay for some friends. If I'ma spend, shot of brains, your friend.
Y'all, the panel and I had a beautiful conversation today. We got here. We had to make some things work. We got some changes, but I do want to say that you guys are looking at our wonderful panel who's going to be here to stay. We had a lot of good conversation today, and I think it was really having the wonderful Jalen Renee here with us. The conversations were great. This was really a nice thing for us to talk about today. But Sheen Booth said, do you have a response? So I think that's important. Chris, any thoughts or feelings on this? And then we'll get out of here, I promise. But I think that's fair.
A man who finds a wife finds
favor.
A good has what?
Favor.
Favor. Okay.
That's the Bible.
I
All
did.
right. Chris, go ahead and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I don't want to say too much on it because I'm really just trying to take in the advice you gave me, but I also don't want it to be misperceived because it's like number that I don't necessarily have a set number in my head, but like you said, it's more so of being comfortable. Like I was raised where I grew up in the hood. We struggled. I was raised by a single mother. I want to like when I say traditional, I want to be engaged, then married, then both of us have like reputable I don't know, careers, like where we're comfortable, and then have my kids. I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to be like rich isn't my goal. Like I just want to be comfortable. I want to be able to do things when I want to do them, as I want to do them, and then just have everything be comfortable. I'm simple, but I did take your advice and I thank you for it. I listened. I heard you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And how did that make you feel? Maybe I'm not assuming a woman has never said this because we don't have these everyday conversations, but did it make you feel anyway? How did it make you feel?
I mean, I commented on there being a lot of good women in the world earlier today.
Yes.
Like I've lost a lot of good women in my past, and it's because of similar things like this. I don't want to do it right now, or I'm making them wait because I'm not ready. So when I heard Jalen say that, like I took it in with like open ears because that's been my past. Like it's been my experience. Like I've lost before. So
Beautiful thing and beautiful conversation. Thank you, Sheen Boo, for bringing that up to us again, y'all. This is the Nightcap Crew. We got Q Suave, the rapper you don't know yet. Fit 6 Hollywood in the middle if you don't know it. Livy Rose, she's on TikTok. Make sure you guys follow her. Danielle at M Hair, and she just dropped an episode for the Red Flag Collectors. So make sure you guys check that out as well. JoJo with a bunch of underscores. Press the underscore until you find her. I promise you will. 6 of them. And then the beautiful, magnificent Jalen Renee. Jalen Renee, I will say, we're going to have you back again. You have spoiled us with conversation.
Let me know.
Let the audience know where we can find you one last time.
Across all platforms at I am Jalen Renee. That's JaylynRenee.
All right, y'all. Keeping it consistent. A real social media maven. You got to keep the names consistent if you want folks to find you, y'all.
Yes.
This is the Nightcap Crew. We will see you guys next week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the video and make sure you give us all some love. And next week, since the panel's official, we're going to have everybody's ads and everything in the bio because we are going up from here.
If I'ma spend, I gotta pay for some friends. Let me pay for some friends. If I'ma spend, shot of brains, get